Hello, creative ones. Good morning from Bali. I was doing a live video and it was a bit choppy, I guess, so I'm gonna record this for you now and talk a little bit about the eclipse window that we're in. It's really intense, powerful energies that are uh, beckoning for massive change on an individual and collective level, demanding really. And so I'm going to talk about the energies, and I'm going to also talk about what's being called forth from us individually and collectively, and give you some tools and some support and some insight on how you can work with this energy, how you can be the creative alchemist of your own life, working with this energy and learning. Really, it's really about energetic and emotional maturation so that you can confidently, courageously, feel equipped, supported, present with the opportunities that are coming for you to grow and expand in your life. And to create more consciously, because that's really what it's ultimately all about, right? So this portal that started on May with the full moon and May 26th in the lunar eclipse. I believe the lunar eclipse was in Sagittarius, and the new moon on the 9th and 10th. Actually, don't know what the new moon is in. I need to check that. If anyone knows, drop it in the comments below, and I'll probably write something about that significance after this video. But really, what I want to talk about the importance of this of the sword of truth, because that's the energy that is being called for. Really, it's the inner union of the masculine, the divine masculine, the sword of truth, the honesty, the purity. The sword of truth is about honesty. It's about truth. It's about protection. It's all that divine masculine energy, and we are clearing centuries of a patriarchal consciousness where that has been unbalanced, right? Where we have been leading our as a humanity, we have allowed and enabled corruption, greed, manipulation to be the dominant force in our creations. Whether we've become a victim to that, we still enable that, or whether we participate in it really in any way, shape, or form, we are giving our life force to it, and therefore we are a co-conspirer, right? We are a co-creator with that. So you may be getting experiences, and even some of these might be really subtle, of experiences where you're being called to speak your truth in a more powerful way. And I want to speak, and that's the Excalibur, right? That's the myth, and the archetype of the Excalibur, the sword of truth, right? That is undeniable. And when we carry that, and we're grounded in that truth, and grounded in source, and grounded in our feet onto the earth, knowing we are in alignment with both the heavens, right? Heaven and earth. That's what anchors in the sword of truth. It's undeniable, right? And so when we carry that frequency, when we carry that energy, it's so powerful. And I think, I want to be mindful. This is not about spewing your truth or your unprocessed emotional baggage onto people because it's your truth. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the undeniable truths that is a deeper knowing, right? That is around purity and honesty and purity of the heart. And that Excalibur must be grounded in the heart. That is the true union of the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies, right? That create the triangle in support of the inner child and our wholeness. So when we are carrying, and we are fearlessly carrying the sword of truth, unapologetically expressing ourselves with love in all of our relations and all of our exchanges, we hold a higher consciousness, we hold a higher creation, we hold a higher standard for ourselves, for each other, and for humanity. And that is the medicine now. That is when I talk about you are the medicine, that is our potential, that is our soul's calling, that is the highest truth. It's up to us to create that change. You are the medicine. You carry that capacity within you. And so that inner work, right? That alignment, that I call it the inner family in my system of coaching tools within the fire tree method, right? Which is the masculine, the feminine, the right, the left brain, the expressive and intuitive alchemical arts, and a strong coaching framework. When they're integrated, they work together to support your wholeness, to support our wholeness. So one of the things that I've been seeing, so how this is showing up collectively, is how all of these truths, right, are coming up out of, the shadows, let's say, and we are seeing certain truths that are undeniable. Yeah? And we're seeing where we have been lied to, maybe, or where things have been covered up. And this old way of being in the collective. And we're also at a point collectively where we know we can no longer continue the way things were. They have to change. We have to be that change. And it's not just the government or somebody else out there, the president or whoever, whatever authority that you have given your power away to outside of you, to be that truth, So it's coming out of the shadows. It really is. It's coming out of these denser layers. So that's the intensity that you're feeling. It's unhealed trauma, personally. It's looking at relationships where you may have been betrayed, or you need to speak your truth, or people have repeatedly crossed your boundaries and without personal responsibility, And so that's information where you may have to let go of a relationship if it's unwilling to evolve with you. Yeah, all of these things are opportunities that people that are experiencing. So I was working with someone yesterday, and one of the biggest things that I'm seeing, and one of the biggest things you can do right now is write out your resentments. Get out of denial of the repressed anger and rage that naturally, organically, truthfully comes up when you've been lied to, manipulated, gaslit, denied, right? Dismissed. If we dishonor that, if we don't hear that ourselves, if we don't, as adults, right? If we don't honor that emotional flow within ourselves, we repress it, it metastasizes, it creates pain in the physical body, and then it creates more problems and challenges, right? And dis-ease. So it's really up to us. There's been so much disinformation and conditioning, especially old spiritual paradigms and beliefs that anger isn't spiritual or whatever. There is sacred, rage can be very sacred. And it's our job to learn the tools and to learn these new ways of being, of how to metabolize this energy. Because that's all it is. It's just energy in motion. It's emotion, energy in motion, and it needs to flow through you. An open vessel grounded in the heart welcomes every experience, right? Because it knows it is present and willing and supported consciously to alchemize those energies. It knows its worthiness, right? So it's really important right now to honor your resentments, honor what's coming up for you, even if you feel it's unspiritual or it's so important to get it out and to give it a voice and a healthy self-expression, right? And if you want support with that, private message me, or book a session with me. Sessions right now are the gateway into my other programs and retreats. It's so important that you do an activation session with me so that you get to learn these tools and that you get the framework for going into some of the deeper work, because without that, it's actually quite dangerous. So it's really, really important. So if you're feeling the call to get support right now, equip yourself, give it to yourself. The session starts right when you book it, because it's very much a shamanic journey, and I will tune in to your energy and your purpose and what it is that you are needing first and foremost, right? And then I'll give you an assignment, and that starts to prep for our time together. So write out your resentments. Going back to how to move this energy now, write it out. Be brutal. Be honest with yourself. Nobody's going to see this. You can throw it into the fire afterwards. It doesn't matter. But it's so important. Because out of the denial, we have to pull ourselves, and it's our inner work that does this, out of the denial and into acceptance. So the people that are staying in denial and all the cognitive dissonance that we're seeing collectively, I have much compassion for that. I totally get it. I've been there in my own personal journey, right? So I really understand the cognitive dissonance, but the reason why people stay in denial or they stay trauma bonded to an authority or a person or a relationship or a substance that is harming them is because they are carrying so much pain that they literally don't have the support, the equipment, the developmental capacity to process the truth. And the truth is going to continue to get louder and louder until people choose to heal, to accept, to evolve. That's the key to our evolution, right? Am I right? So the other thing is, it's also the key to personal responsibility. So if you are in denial about your partner, if you are in denial about someone in your staff, right, or your business partner, or your child, or your school, or your government, or whatever it is, if you are in denial about that and you are unwilling to accept what the universe keeps showing you, it keeps like, you're not a victim to it, it's showing you so you can change and evolve, so you can take action to shift it. It's all information. So the other thing I see is when people stay in denial, it's because they are unwilling to take personal responsibility for their happiness, and they're still stuck in a codependent way of relating. And that's okay. There's no judgment about it, but that creates suffering. That creates discord. That creates drama. And that, I know, I've been there. And it continues to perpetuate a cycle of superficial love and connection, and keeps us from fulfilling our soul's true nature, right? Our soul's true fulfillment in this life. So if you're in a relationship with someone and they are unwilling to accept personal responsibility, or you have been in denial about something, be gentle with yourself. Give yourself a lot of compassion, because that is what's needed to balance out, right? The Excalibur, and the sort of truth and the love that is rooted in the heart. They go together. They work together. They are co-creators and protecting of the inner child, right? The inner child, the purity of the inner child, or some people might call it also the Christ light, or that purity of spirit, of wonder, of connection, inspiration, creativity. All of that flows through when the child feels internally, energetically, feels safe and supported. So that's the other thing. When you start speaking your truth with love, but with firmness, when you start honoring your boundaries and honoring your own heart, that's the child, isn't the heart. When you're honoring your own heart, when you're backing yourself, you're building up this momentum, and you're showing the universe, and you're also showing yourself that in your heart that you're going to take a stand for it, and that you're not going to tolerate shitty behavior. You're not going to tolerate corruption, greed, manipulation, dishonesty, all the stuff that's crumbling right now in the third and fourth dimension, so that we can anchor in a higher consciousness, so that we can anchor in these higher more loving relationships, more flow, more creativity, more abundance, true abundance, right? That has a purity with it, like, you know. Um, so yeah, denial, moving from denial into acceptance is a journey, and it requires willingness and personal responsibility. But once you go through that, you really do receive so many gifts of wisdom, of insight, of courage, of confidence, because you've done the inner work. And then the emotional clarity that comes from that is that you can transform any situation with your love, with your heart, with your truth. In every moment. And then it gets really fun and it gets really easy, and you feel less of a victim and more of life and more of a co-creator with life. And your challenges become playful and curious, right? So allowing that emotional flow, because at the end of the day, that is what creates. It's our emotional flow. So if you're stewing in unconscious or conscious resentment, and it's just, you're just replaying, you know, on the karmic wheel, what happened, and da da da. I mean, I've so been there, I get it. And it's like da da da, and that energy is not evolving, it's not moving, you're just staying looping in it because you have a mental pattern and a belief, right? You might just need a little tweak there. You might just need a little shift or some support to clear out that emotion, and some tools to clear out that emotion, like the resentments. Write out the resentments, express them, be honest with yourself first and foremost. Yeah. Because that's going to open up your emotional flow. That's going to give you permission to take up space, right? Fully in yourself, all of you, and get that energy moving. So we're moving through, in this window, we're moving through these pockets of density, and they are requiring our evolution. They're requiring our maturation. It's like, do not pass go, do not collect $200, you know? You have to do the work. We're being really pushed by these universal forces, these cosmic forces, to evolve and to do our part and to get on soul mission and soul purpose. And if you are curious about that, you can also book a session for me, with me, and we can dive into that, and we can start now. I mean, I'll start, even if the session isn't for a couple of weeks or whatever, you can start the process now. I will send you your assignment upon booking. Okay, pockets of density. So that density is the emotional baggage that must be processed, that must be alchemized for you to receive and anchor in the higher timeline, or the bigger opportunity, or the dream, desire, or the next level of your vision, because you have to grow into the person who can anchor in and vibrate through action, through being, through emotion, right? Through mindset, multidimensionally, who can anchor in as the co-creator of these experiences. And so these pockets, the way I've experienced them is that, like, you know, they're pockets of density where stuff's coming up, and it's great. I mean, can you imagine if it happened all at once? But we move through it. We have to feel it. We have to reveal, feel to heal, right? Reveal is bringing it out of the shadow, bringing it out of the darkness and into the truth, in with the sword of truth, into the light, into the knowing, and then allowing the emotions that come through that awareness to flow. And practicing gentle, loving kindness with yourself and others as that happens, so that you can reap the gifts of every experience, right? Every emotion has a message, it has a wisdom to it, it has guidance for you that you have to unpack. Nobody can give you this stuff, you know? That's the other thing we're seeing changing in the healing community and in healthcare and wellness, whatever. But you know, you can watch so many videos, you can get tons of information, you can go to as many psychics as you want to, tarot card readers, I don't care. But if you're not doing the real work, you're going to stay codependent on your energy worker or your, you know, because you have yet to learn how to you have those capacities and those skills and gifts as well. Everybody does. You get to activate them, you get to awaken them, and if you want, and master the tools, and they're actually really simple. So you no longer have to like give your power away to outside authority. That's a big part of the Saturn retrograde that we're going through right now. It's like claim and call your power back. Oh, thank you, honey. Sophie just made me a necklace for my birthday next month. How cool. I'm going to wrap this up, but I was talking about Saturn. Saturn is really about claiming your own authority, claiming how your relationship to authority, and where have you given your power away by not holding the Excalibur, right? The sword of truth. Okay. So purify in order to anchor in the higher reality. I think I spoke about that, the timeline and the Excalibur, right? The sword of truth. The Excalibur, rooted and grounded in the heart. That's also how you protect, like, you know, that's true protection energy too. If you're talking about spiritual energy, it's knowing that love is the highest protection. So learning to send out love and truth simultaneously. And sometimes that's very firm. Love can be very firm, right? But it holds that unconditional love and compassion of the Divine Mother, holds without judgment. Oh, thanks, baby. Thank you, honey.
You can put it back together.
What is this?
It's a flower it's a flower for a front.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna finish up, but careful. She's so sweet. She's my little Sophia. She makes me things all day long. It's pretty cool. Little creator that she is. So yeah, that's what I really wanted to say. I'm kind of in my own deep process with this energies too. So I know I popcorned around a little bit, but if you want support with anchoring in this next level vision that's coming forth, this next level way of being, and really evolving and really claiming your own maturation in terms of becoming your own energy master, your own, you know, emotional mastery, which is not about changing your emotion in terms of it coming from a place of those are wrong or bad or to get out of something, but to honor the flow of life, the emotion as it moves through you. And as we continue to individually and collectively purify and ground, you know, on the physical body plane, so us and Mother Earth, as well as the emotional body, you know, and the spiritual body, because a lot of our old, see, the thing about Saturn and retrograde is all the old spiritual teachings and old, you know, they served a purpose, and they will be replaced. They are being replaced with higher teachings, higher knowings that are going to serve us into this next age that we are stepping into now. So if this resonates with you, please like, share, write a comment, private message me if you have any questions, or if you have something you want me to kind of dive deeper in. I know I've been a little bit quiet over the last couple months. I've been in my own process here in Bali, but also spending a lot of time with my daughter, and been doing this cleanse, which you'll hear more about it from me, the heavy metals detox, with medical medium information. Super excited about it. I'm going to be adding this to my recalibration retreat here in Bali. So if you're interested in coming and doing an intensive retreat or training with me in Bali, also private message me and stay tuned for more information here. I love you all. Know that all is well, truly, and be willing to do your part for this individual and collective ascension. Much love to you. Bye for now.